The crisp night air surrounded me as I set up my tent in the secluded clearing. The rustling leaves and distant chirping of crickets provided a soothing soundtrack to my solo camping trip. Little did I know that the serene wilderness would soon unravel into a nightmare, the echoes of which would haunt me for the rest of my days. I was an avid camper, seeking solace in the untouched beauty of nature. The moonlight filtered through the dense canopy of trees, casting a silvery glow over the clearing. The scent of pine hung in the air, and a sense of tranquility settled around me as I kindled a modest fire. As I sat by the flames, immersed in the solitude, a sudden stillness gripped the air. The nocturnal symphony that had serenaded me moments ago fell silent. An inexplicable unease crept over me, causing the hair on the back of my neck to stand on end. I scanned the perimeter of the clearing, searching for the source of the foreboding feeling. Shadows danced along the edges, and my imagination played tricks on me as I envisioned dark figures lurking in the darkness. I shook off the paranoia, attributing it to the isolated nature of the campsite. As the night wore on, the serenity returned, and I nestled into my sleeping bag, lulled by the rhythmic chorus of the forest. Sometime past midnight, a sound disrupted my slumber. Muffled voices carried on the wind. Groggy and disoriented, I unzipped my tent, peering into the darkness. Two figures stood on the edge of the clearing, their hushed tones barely audible. Curiosity overcame me as I observed their clandestine conversation. They spoke in urgent whispers, their words carrying an ominous weight. My instincts screamed at me to remain hidden, a silent witness to a scene unfolding in the shadows. The moonlight revealed the grim reality, a shallow grave dug into the forest floor. The two figures, faces obscured by the darkness, worked with a frantic urgency. My heart pounded in my chest as the realization dawned they were burying something, or someone. Dread gripped me as I witnessed the sinister tableau, paralyzed by the gravity of the situation. A metallic scent hung in the air, and the cold realization settled I had stumbled upon a crime scene, an act of malevolence hidden within the depths of the wilderness. Suddenly, one of the figures froze, as if sensing my presence. Panic surged through me, and I recoiled, my breath catching in my throat. Their heads turned in unison, scanning the clearing with an unsettling precision. I ducked back into the safety of my tent, my mind racing with the terror of being discovered. As I cowered in the tent, the nocturnal stillness shattered into chaos. Footsteps approached, growing louder with each passing second. Panic set in as the tent fabric rustled, and the figures loomed overhead. In a desperate bid for escape, I burst from the tent, stumbling over roots and rocks. My heart raced, adrenaline coursing through my veins as I navigated the terrain in a frantic dash for safety. Behind me, the pursuers gave chase, their footsteps echoing through the silent wilderness. The darkness became my ally as I plunged into the thicket, weaving between trees in a desperate attempt to elude my relentless pursuers. As I sprinted through the night, the chilling realization dawned: these were not random campers. They were criminals, concealing a heinous act under the cover of darkness. My very presence had become a witness to their unspeakable crime. I veered off the trail, the forest closing in around me. The pursuit grew distant, but the terror lingered. My breath came in ragged gasps, and my body ached with the strain of the harrowing escape. The woods, once a place of solace, now harbored a malevolent secret that refused to be ignored. Hours passed as I hid, breathless and trembling, in the heart of the wilderness. The night pressed on in an ominous hush, and the shadows seemed to harbor unseen eyes. Fear clung to me like a suffocating cloak, and every rustle in the underbrush sent shivers down my spine. Eventually, the sounds of pursuit faded into the distance, swallowed by the vast expanse of the forest. I summoned the courage to emerge from my hiding place, cautiously making my way back to the clearing. The grave, now concealed beneath a layer of fallen leaves, told a haunting tale of the crime that had transpired. My immediate instinct was to run, to escape the haunted realm that had become the once tranquil wilderness. But a sense of duty overcame me a responsibility to bring justice to the victim and to ensure that the malevolent duo did not escape the consequences of their actions. Dawn broke as I stumbled out of the forest, exhaustion etched into every fibre of my being. With a sense of urgency, I made my way to the nearest town and contacted the police. The gravity of the encounter unfolded as I recounted the chilling details of the night. Together, we returned to the campsite. Guided by the harsh light of day, the police unearthed a shallow grave, revealing the grim truth: a life extinguished and concealed beneath the forest floor. The investigation began, but the identity of the criminals remained elusive. Despite the evidence, the perpetrators managed to elude the authorities, leaving me in a perpetual state of fear. The shadows that had once been my refuge now harbored an unseen menace, and the spectre of the crime haunted my every step. In the aftermath, the wilderness became a haunting landscape, forever tainted by the malevolence I had witnessed. The perpetrators, though unidentified, seemed to linger in the shadows, their whispers echoing through the corridors of my mind. I moved away, seeking solace in the anonymity of a new life. Yet, the fear persisted, an indelible mark that shaped my every decision. The shadows of that night loomed over me, casting a perpetual pallor on my sense of security. The chilling encounter in the camping ground became a nightmarish chapter, a story of horror etched into the annals of my memory. The perpetrators remained at large, and the fear of retribution gnawed at me, a constant reminder that the darkness of that night had not been fully vanquished. To this day, the sound of rustling leaves and the whispering of the wind evoke the memories of that fateful night. The shadows in the wilderness, once silent witnesses to unspeakable horror, continue to cast their long, haunting reach over my life. And in the quiet moments, I find myself looking over my shoulder, haunted by the possibility that the malevolent duo may one day emerge from the shadows to confront the lingering witness to their crime.